Okay, sorry about that. I was hungry. I wanted to get some breakfast before the stream. However, I ordered it so that I could get set up, and it didn't arrive until just as the stream started. So I apologize. Good morning, Lion. Mostly because I want to take full advantage. Nice. Yeah, I suppose I'm not too dissimilar. I was awake at 5 a.m. So yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do a mix of things today. I'm not gonna keep on my regularly scheduled stuff because it could be longer. We probably will look at some developers.stream. Maybe we'll look at some of the issues. But I'm not gonna hold to any particular thing. I'm gonna stream until I feel is good. Probably not too much longer than a normal stream because I think they're kind of damaging to do super long streams like this. So what I'm working on Liquid Sky is I got the sprints in here. So now the sprints that you're allowed to select are the ones that you have access to through your team. So you're not able to see sprints that you don't have. Taylor, go in now. So now I also need to make sure that you can't assign a task to a sprint. You shouldn't say, oh, there you go. It's actually working there. So let's go and remove Jeffrey from Team Delta. Right. And give that a second to go through. Right. And then if that works, then we've kind of completed that piece, that task. Also, we don't see Dan much anymore in here because his stream overlaps. I do want to say Dan is a consistently good developer. He's working hard on his game. That's been doing for a while. He's a good streamer and a nice guy. So the stream is nice and easy. And I just want to make sure I shout him out while he's actually still live. So let's go and see if this is taking effect. So we need to refresh right this second because yeah. Okay, so now we only see default team. So if you remember, default team is the all zeros. It's the teams that are going to be assigned when we put this live, so that there is always going to be a team. Everything will be on default team by default, and you will always see default team. But if we go down here now, assign sprint, we don't see any sprints to assign to because that's not right. Oh yeah, because we said, oh, if there's a defined team for this task, then the sprint that you attach it to has to be in that team. We don't want to assign to default, right? But there you go. So now that's available because there's no assigned task. So we can still assign tasks that are not assigned to a team to a sprint. That's an interesting one. Oh, I suppose that is working. That is allowing us to assign to sprints that already exist. But going forward, you won't be able to do that. Which would mean that any sprints that were in flow were going to be affected. So, yeah. But again, this isn't to panic about. This isn't something to worry about, because this is going to be temporary, and I'm the only one that's really affected by it with Liquid Sky. So that is working. That is doing exactly what it should do. This is showing default team because there is no assigned team to this task. On this one, there's no sprints available for that. If I create a new sprint for Team Quantum, start that on the end of the week, begin the 14th, create that sprint, right? That now appears here. And if I go over to this task, I can move that into Quantum as a sprint, because now that sprint's available. So that's working exactly as intended now. Okay. So I just wanted to finish that up at the beginning of the stream. That was something I'd been working on over the weekend. So yeah. So yeah, as mentioned, bit of a random stream today. Just getting stuff done. We may end up doing something chat related, bot related. That's probably an easier thing to do. A good excuse for a day like this. Okay. Taylor, leave his ear alone. You'll have an ear infection. Yeah. Don't let her do it, bud. You're a licky dog. Sorry, easy to just say that to them. The mute. I have to lean across to mute, so. Yeah. She's a funny one. Yesterday we found out that the dog liked having the leaf blower blown in her face because she's a weirdo. Okay. So yeah, let's get that committed. Let's tighten up that. Why do you keep doing this to me? Hide that one. You can go up there, but I don't want you to take the top spot. Okay, so display sprints. Access to. When selecting the task, only show sprints valid for the team assigned to that task. So you can't, even though you might have access to Delta team, the Quantum team task can only be assigned to a sprint that is for Quantum. You can't mix and match the sprints just because you actually have access to those teams. That's the goal there. Kind of an organizational piece. Okay. Let's commit and push that. I was doing something that I shouldn't really be doing here. I'm kind of not planning it out enough. But I wanted to finish up that piece, and it was like I kind of did it by feel versus anything else. So when requesting sprints, show only current users for teams, and when selecting sprints in tasks, show only sprints for team assigned. that finishes up that piece. The next piece there is to filter the backlog. So provide filters on, but that will involve cleaning that screen up, I think. And then this is a nice stretch. When you drag it to in progress, it assigns it to you anyway. That's not a difficult thing to do because we know who you are when you make the request to drag. So when we update the server side with in progress, we just assign it to the person who dragged it in, moved it to in progress. I'm not sure about that one. To be honest, I think it's more your responsibility to assign it, because then someone could move it to in progress for you to pick up on. But so I think it might be a bit of an incorrect assumption to do that. So we might leave that out and not do this until someone says, "Oh, it would be nice if it assigned it to me automatically," and we get feedback on that piece. It's the sort of thing that adding that feature could confuse people and irritate people, but it's a pretty simple one to gather feedback on after the fact, and it's not a difficult thing to do later. So the next one would just be filtering. Let's, oh, we don't want to show that. Let's go and get, I don't think there was any server changes for this. I think these are all in development. Yeah, these are all in development. Okay. Let's go and get develop.stream. Stony, good day. How are you doing? Hey, Dota. How's things? Okay, so let's get that one merged. GitHub.com. Liquid Sky. Sky client ng. Got my own internet connection again. How's you? Doing good. It's a Monday. Pretty good. Gonna be grumpy because everyone else is on holiday today. Well, didn't you have a holiday last Monday? So you didn't have one last month? I thought Canada had a holiday last month. Our Canadians on the teams had last Monday off. Ooh. Oh. Well, our organization gives it to all of Canada, apparently, unless you don't count as Canada, which I'm not sure is true. No, not UX Pilot. That's an experiment. Yeah, it helps if you push. It's easier to do a PR if you've pushed. If you push the actual code to the thing you want to do the PR for. Check that out. Refresh that. Show sprints for task team. So again, what I've done is I've put a team filtering on the sprint, and then in that control, I've basically just filtered out. So you go and get all the sprints that the user has access to, but then filtered out all the, if you've got a team selected, filter out all those that aren't for that team. So you only show sprints that you should do. Yeah. And by that measure, you can still assign, if you don't have a task assigned to a team, which going forward you can't do, but any existing task could be assigned to default sprints. basically I need to create a sprint before I actually, yeah, it's fine. We can worry about that. I can always do a data update for me. No one else is using the application enough to really be affected right now. And I can check that before I go ahead and just do an update. Okay, so bypass rules, squash and merge. Delete the branch. I'm a big fan of deleting the branches. It's definitely keeping things a bit cleaner and less confusing. Okay. Just make one more check. Yeah, all files are today. Okay. So that's some some Liquid Sky dev. Again, I'm going to do random stuff today. I'm not going to focus on anything in particular. We can always chat about stuff if anyone has any thoughts or questions on stuff. I'm not necessarily tied to a plan today. Let's go and look at, actually, let's do this. Let's close Rider. I know we don't often do that. Let's close that. And let's open Visual Studio. Probably should make sure this is updated before I do this, but it's fine. Actually, let's make sure that it's updated. Update available. Let's see if it's worth the time to do this. Cumulative update with new features. Oh, well, if it's a cumulative update with new features, then it's worth it, right? What version am I on? 17.14.0. Okay, so according to Razor source generators and what features came? Features Copilot 4, Copilot GPT-4, MCP server support preview. Yeah, it's worth updating. Okay. It shouldn't take too long. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to developers.stream. So we had some issues last time, showing screenshot of stream, search doesn't work, can't log out, title not showing on profile screen, indicate the streamer is live, display logos for linked platforms and profile. Let's have a look at search. I was looking at deploying developers.stream yesterday. And unless I'm wrong, it's going to cost around about $30 to $35 a month to run, which isn't terrible. There you go, it's updated. If I put it in Azure App Services, in like low-level app services that aren't the free ones, because you can't run it on the free ones, because the free ones only have 60 minutes a day. And if I'm going to say, hey, streamers, you can use this, and, you know, just a few streamers do, you call the API, then the API needs to be available. I can't have it just disappear, because that's good, is it? What's new? I don't care about what's new in Risapa. Okay. Sorry, I'm just giving that enough time to wake up. Still going. It's still processing, by the way. There we go. Okay. So, search. How do we tackle search properly? Um, so the easy thing to do, let's run this and show. There's an easy thing to do, and there's potentially some better ways of handling this. So I don't want to just jump in and do search because I think it's easy to jump to um, the quick way of doing this. Okay, so let's open the dashboard. Everything's running. This is on Aspire 903. We did update it, so everything's up to date before we pushed it. So what we want to do here is either search for a user, or we want to search for Blazor. And now Blazor could be in here. It could be in the description. How do people feel about that? Am I wrong? Do you think that's reasonable? So if I search Angular, I'd find anyone that has Angular in there. I don't know why I'm typing it, but maybe it's good for visuals. But then we can find that. So what would you do? How would you? Well, no worries, Doctor. No worries. Like Elasticsearch. I don't know. I'm thinking about options. Now the intention of this is probably to put this on Azure. I do have to keep the costs low. I cannot afford if Liquid Sky, if developers.stream is costing me $100 a month to keep active, that's not going to be fun, right? So I've got to balance efficiency with cost. Unless you run it yourself on Docker or something. Yes, I could deploy this on another little box, like I do Liquid Sky right this second, and see if people like using it. And if they do, but then if people are using it, that traffic is all coming into my house all the time. And my provider might have an issue with that one. Harish, hello, how you doing? feel like implementing a simple search, then make a ticket store for implementing Elasticsearch and see if someone picks it up. But implementing Elasticsearch is a piece that I probably wouldn't want to go to. That's an expensive piece. I'm just curious how people would approach search. Not sure I understand, but something about as you type it in, it filters out displayed stream cards with only ones that have the keyword in either the description or as a tag with the keyword highlighted. However, this means that you would need to consider the search term should be treated as unit or fuzzy. I know the quick way, right? I know the simple way is basically write a query that goes to here and searches, the streamers where they have a label attached to them with this text or their blurb contains the word. Right, that's a way of doing this. And basically opening this up as a just a discussion point purely because how would you want to implement it? How would you see implementing it? Using Elasticsearch would be, I think, overkill. I think. Now, we are using Postgre, which does have some better features than something like MySQL. But ultimately, what would you? I would want to say, okay, I type in Angular, it takes a second, and then shows me the list of results that have Angular. I'm not sure I would want to type, and as I type, have it filter because that would be expensive. In terms of just keep calling, we don't have those sorts of resources available to us. The stuff you can do with expression trees to have sorting and filtering implemented. Yeah. Well, my plan is to implement search in the basic in the first iteration. Because I need search to work if I want to put this live, right? It's part of the process, it's part of the actual tool. Um, um, but nothing says it can't be improved after the fact. What does search look like? Going over there. Again, search. Select star from streamers where s join tags. Is it tags? Yeah, tags T on S. Yeah, S dot T dot streamer ID equals T dot S dot ID. Join labels L on L dot label equals T dot label ID S dot blow up where S dot blurb like Angular or L dot text like Angular. That would be the quickest one. Relation streamers does not exist. What? What do you mean relation streamers does not exist? You don't exist. Developers stream. Okay. Do I not know how queries work? Streamers. Oh. Do I have to quote tables in PG-SQL? No, don't do this to me. It's not this, is it? It is. Ugh. Wow. And it's case sensitive. Oh dear. Oh dear. That is quite a query. Well, that's a default. I didn't change anything explicitly. That's the out of the box way it works. At post program. Add program Postgres. I mean, the case sensitivity is not necessarily a problem, but it is something that makes it more difficult from our perspective, right? So do we then remove search for right now and filter and implement search as a later thing? So filtering would allow us to select the tags. Now, it would mean you can't search the blurb, but I don't think you would be expecting to see any particular blurb. You might search a name. Name itself is an actual challenge because I want you to be able to search for me by my YouTube name or my Twitch name, right? So, but this name is not necessarily the same. You could actually put your if you chose to, you could put your real name there, but your channels are different, right? Um, you could put anything as your name here, but that's not necessarily what they want to search on. So, although if they're searching for you by name, is that a use case? The idea is discovery, not of, because this isn't going to give you anything particularly different. Dukesoft, hello. Welcome in. I hope you're not going to get stuck behind those ads. Shout out to Dukesoft. If you haven't followed Dukesoft, I recommend doing so. Doesn't stream very often, but when he does, streams drone footage of the area around him, and it's some fantastic footage. Turbo. Nice. So I highly recommend going following Dukesoft if you don't already. You know, that sort of content is relaxing and interesting because you don't see that part of the world all the time, right? So, yeah, I highly recommend going following. Okay, cool. Sorry, just checking that stuff. So what do you guys think? What do you all think? Do we actually try and implement a search, knowing that case sensitivity could play a role in this? Do we do filtering, where basically give you the chance to select some tags? So similar to this, right? We say, okay, give you a search box and you enter a tag and it adds that and it filters it down for you. Once you add that tag, do we just do that? And that way you can find streamers by their tags. And those tags are not going to be case checked because we're not going to search them based upon their labels. Or do we go and actually try and do query? I'm not trying to cut the corner. I'm just trying to make sure that, like, what is a user of this platform, of this particular aspect of the platform, actually looking for? They're looking for new streams. They're looking for streams that do stuff they like. So those tags are what is intended to do that, right? So do we do that? Let's do that. So let's track this. Go to tags, then a broad search. Also seems a sort of easy to implement. The easier I don't really care about, right? I care about the way I might approach this is I honestly wouldn't make it complicated doing case sensitive searches. That is not typical searches anymore. I like the tags list, but that would be an additional option, like the search in Unity, and the search entry would search usernames and tags, all of them. So you would go ahead with a search. Oh, that sunlight. is I'm sat right in front of the actual piece where the string goes through the slats of the blinds, so I can't actually block my face from it. Yeah, I like to sit in front of the window because of the light, obviously, but then first thing in the morning, the sun is good stuff. So you go with the search, hey, online? Go with Copilot agent mode. There we go. Must have it do it for me. And case sensitive, obviously, the correlation on the SQL server on the Postgres server by default is case sensitive. That I'd have to allow for. I want to do that. Would I do upper like doesn't really matter, does it? So just get rid of the case, lower it all. Yeah. No, I need to make sure that's yeah, still fine. Yeah. Again, just chiming in with the approach I would take in the situation, but yeah, I would go with a search. I am of course not saying you should do it this way. I realize I'm not taking what you say as a command. It's fine. I get it. No, I'm search is more freeform. Yeah. um, and I was actually heading to the lower then, right? For some reason, upper doesn't feel right. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh no, because it won't. Because you just yeah. There you go. Should have to type upper again. Um, there you go. Which means that needs to also be lowered. The thing I must do is refill my coffee. That is an essential part of the day, I feel. Yeah, what I want to do is I want to do this in a relatively quick way first, I think. And again, I threw it out there in the beginning to see if anyone had any, you know, go to implementations if they feel that it should be implemented a certain way. Obviously, something like if this platform grew to a size where I had to consider Elasticsearch, then I'd also have to be considering how it was being paid for. As it is, I think if I put this on Azure, it will cost about $30 a month. I think so far because I can't put it on the free tier. Well, I could put it on the free tier, but if people started using it, I would run out of the free tier quickly. Um, and there are several parts to this. So, yes. This is where modular monolith works, by the way. So, um, because I've developed one, two, three applications. Each one of these needs to go into a service, right? And this would still be a challenge, even with a modular monolith. This wouldn't be a modular monolith. The way it's built isn't supporting that. They are separate pieces. This and this could potentially live under the same thing with some finagling. but I'd have to deploy more separate. So what I'm saying is I don't want to necessarily create more to this because the cost of running this is going to be increased. But we'll see. If it gets popular, then maybe I'll figure that out. Let's go ahead and implement this. Let's go ahead and implement the search. I think that's and as you say, we could always do the tag filtering. That's an easy piece. Okay. Actually, that's a good issue to have later. So let's plan on me implementing basic text search, and then I'll put a filter by tags issue in there for someone else to pick up if they want it, because that's a good. It's a meaty issue to pick up. It gets you into the actual code, and does achieve the filtering. So the search bar is currently not doing anything. We should be able to search by name or tag or part of the description, and search results should be filtered. So we're going to do, how do you do the view get? Is it that one? No. Get changes. Is that it? Yeah. New branch, please. Feature 6. Implement simple search. Oh, I branched off main then. I did create a development branch, yeah. Let's manage branches. Let's delete that one. Why can't I delete it? Because I'm on the branch. Main. Delete. Check out. Pull. Make sure that's updated. Sunlight is driving me crazy. New local branch from development. Feature 6. Implement simple search. That's better. Okay. So where do we start with this? Well, on the website, actually, this is an interesting one. Pages, home page. Right now we have the search bar, which is just a placeholder, right? Oh, which is just a, sorry, not a placeholder. I read the word placeholder there, which is just a simple bar on the screen. When we type this, streamer cards should be filtered. Do we just navigate to the control? Do we put in a filter on this that we trigger? So we have, filtering somehow. So then we hook up the search control to fire its search request to streamer cards. And streamer cards is actually the one that deals with the filtering aspect. How do I feel? Oh, goodness me. So right now, layout, streamer cards, just looks like that where it says get streamers. I assume we really want to put parameters into get streamers. Do we? I don't know. This would make the most sense, right? This is the list of streamers. We don't want to pass this list into this component because I think it is responsible for the data. So what I'm thinking is developers.stream. Yeah, that's the API. That's done. New note, search. New drawing. Search. So we have a control. Search. We have a control. Streamer cards. What I'm saying is this is an event. On filter changed or something like that, or on search changed. And this triggers that event. And filters streamer cards down by that. That's it on. That makes sense. And that fires back a request to the same API. We just make this accept parameters. Now, do we set someone up in the future for providing available tags? Or do we just put a search query for right now? Is, yeah, so the get streamers, string, search term. Have a default parameter there. Stop. What do we think? We like it? Do we dislike it? So I'm thinking that we have public delegate, and then we have a public How do I wire this up? I want to expose a parameter. How do I do this? Why is my brain going blank? So basically what I want to do is on streamer cards is the one that's going to get it. But basically on here, I want an on filter changed. No, I don't. That's a reactive thing. So I'm thinking about that in the wrong direction. Why can't I think? Why can't I get that right in my head? Essentially, what I'm trying to do is when this changes on change, I want to call streamer cards I do here. Wow, glasses. Just pull my glasses off my face. What's the right way of doing this in Blazor? This front end stuff, it's a mystery to me. How does this work? Why? What am I doing? I want to, when this value changes, I want to debounce it, but then I want to trigger this. I don't care about that. To basically do a version. Essentially, what I'm doing is public async task on filter changed string term. Then I want to do streamers equals await query dot get streamers term cancellation token. Something like that. Actually, I can't cancel these right now because I don't know about these. So let's not make that a concern up the way. So how do I want to wire that up? What I'm struggling with is I don't have that model in my head. I don't have what is the right way of tackling that in Blazor. Let's see. Let's see how Claude helps. Actually, let's sign in. Continue. Open. How helpful are you going to be? How would I invoke on filter changed? Another control. No, what am I asking? What am I asking? Um, April, how are you doing? I don't need to ask it a question. I just need to tell it what I'm trying to do. I'll save him a penny. Expose a callback in the parent component. My experience from Vibe coding last week was that it was okay, but not speeding me up. Yeah. Yeah. On input changed. Ref, streamer cards, ref. Ah. So I wouldn't invoke. Gotcha. So I can't subscribe to that event. Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm a brownfield developer. Update stream accounts to allow ref. Result. Yeah, I don't think I saw that going that way. Maybe. Hello, how you doing? Um, I've seen several people talk about that process recently, and said that it's kind of like working with a junior developer. My problem is if that's the level of coding that you feel is being produced when you're getting when you're getting the machine to generate the code, aren't you going to spend just as much time reviewing the code you don't trust because it's from a junior developer than you are having had, writing in the first place? This sort of stuff where I'm basically just trying to see how I would approach something, and I'm going to write the code, is kind of my preferred way of doing this right this second. Yeah. So what do we do? What do we do? So is that really what I wanted to? I kind of wanted to say. That's not going there then. If I pull a funny face in a minute, that fly actually made it into my coffee. Oh, this isn't good. What I kind of wanted to expose is some sort of like. I suppose that is exactly what I've done, really. No, it didn't. But I'm guarding my coffee for a minute. Well, I'll finish it. Um, Putting the code in the other control though seems. Eh. But I get it. I get it. Because we could make this. Ugh, we could make the search bar a control and then feed it the reference. Yeah, I've mentioned this a few times now, but it feels like a tool I can use to get work done on an effort that I'm not ready to start on yet, since I'm working on other things. I'm finding that I'm able to use a lot of the code it generates when I'm actively working on that particular effort. Still refining my approach to using it, but so far, like, it's starting to make it faster for me. I'm still seeing more people that say that the code it produces, although working, is not of a good quality though. And I still, if it's solving a problem, fine, but it can't so far understand much beyond basic structure. So architecture, design is still left down to you. And I feel that if there's that much code produced, there's less of an argument. Like, it works is my fear. It works. It's not well structured. It's not well designed. It's just, it works. That, yeah. So I think my kind of, this is the way I'm happy right this second. I'm still researching that stuff. I'm still doing those sorts of things off stream. I'm tinkering with those tools because, as I said to Dota in a conversation over the weekend, like, I think it would be silly not to be at least reviewing what it can do and understanding what it can do, so we don't seem like unnaturally skeptical, or no, not unnaturally, unfairly skeptical of it. We have to understand why we don't like it by using it and giving it a try, so that the technology doesn't pass us by and we're like, oh, it's just a fad. Like, oh, what word did you use there? My censorship. Um, I don't know why I can't say, because it's auto modded, that I can't even let it in the chat. I don't know why they don't just let me say, just star it out. It's fine. Like, I keep the language controlled on the stream because I don't, I try not to be sweary because I can be very sweary if I get into it. Um, but I don't know why it won't let you. So maybe said, have you seen they let it loose on the .NET on GitHub and it's a Pinnacle show, right? Yeah. I can't see a problem it solves. It just seems to make things worse. Even if it really does something good, the majority it gets bad. I think, again, we do need to continually test it. We do need to be working with it, and maybe we don't produce anything from it that actually we use, but I think it would be wrong of us to dismiss it and say no, it's not, because if it does become a big thing, we're going to be left behind, and that's going to be a challenge. And I've already seen it on jobs. They are asking for AI skills and skill sets, even in jobs that aren't focused primarily on AI experiences. But again, architecture, scalability. Um, I have tried to ask it things like how it might do something with Kafka, how it might do something with Service Bus, distributed system stuff. Not too solid on those pieces so far. And the tools that you have available to you online don't offer those components, so they can't build them out. And what we do is a bit more than just slapping code together, right? So, but I think we should continue to work with the tools. I think we should continue to test the tools and see what it can do. Um, but yeah, I think you're a bit more comfortable embracing the technology online because you appreciate what it is doing more than the rest of us. For me, the few complicated things I was struggling to Google, find information on, it just confidently made up libraries concept. That's the fear. Like, it just makes things up. You've got to and that's what I'm saying. If from the coding perspective, if you're letting it develop code with you, and people are saying that the quality of the code it produces is junior level code. I know I don't particularly like that phrasing, but it's the best we have. And we all know what we mean by that. Um, that less experienced code development needs extra checks. So how much time do you need to spend to review that? And again, if it's not doing anything, if it's being unrefined, if it's coming up with if it's using different techniques and different patterns with every single time you ask it a question, it's not making a consistent code base. The maintenance cost of that is heavier later, and yeah, so I kind of use it like this, where I'm using it as a little bit of a prompt to get me forward, so I can figure out what it is I'm doing. Uh, yeah, but again, I'm not a big fan of like junior senior developer. I think if you start a new business, you're pretty much a junior developer in that business. Um, your experience counts for different things there. Um, and a junior developer by experience doesn't necessarily mean bad developer. Just means less experienced in terms of business requirements gathering and understanding. Can mean worse code, but not always. Um, so let me go ahead. I'm going to implement this as this is actually suggested in this case, because it does make sense what I'm doing there. So what we're saying is we're going to put a ref there. Is that how you do a ref? Oh, it wants, okay, yeah. Private streamer cards. Morning, Surly. How you doing? Yeah. No. Again, I think from this perspective, be able to search and kind of prompt me how to do things that I probably was not. Like I said, I was struggling with the mental organization of these components. Yeah. So then we want on input. Let's see how valid it is on input changed. So right now we're just implementing search on developers.stream. Bit of a random stream today. Okay. See, I don't want it to be calling that explicitly. That's interesting. This version filled it in as that. Why that would be. Um, and I don't want to filter if I don't have it. We're going to do streamer cards on filter changed, filter term, but that's async. Mike, hello, how you doing? That name. How's things today? Welcome in, and thank you for the follow today. Can I make these async? Nope, you can't type that into chat. Amazing. Task. Await that. Will that work? Oh, ads. Sorry. Okay, so what we're working on today is introducing search in Liquid in Liquid Sky in developers.stream. This is one of two projects I work on stream. If you are interested in getting the code for this one, the other one is not open source, but this one is. It is available on developers.stream. What we're doing right this second is we're wiring up the search to filter. Why would that actually be null though? It can't be null. Can it? That's fine. Do I work at Microsoft? No. No. So this project is um, an application built to try and help promote other developers who stream. So I know that you joined One Line Stream last week, right? And I'm watching C# developers or .NET developers, etc. The idea is that for you to be able to find those on Twitch with Twitch's tools, that's not very easy. Developers do stream on YouTube as well, and they might not stream on Twitch. You're not going to find them very easily. So what I want to do is provide a platform, and let me run it and I'll show you. Provide a platform that allows you to search for .NET, C#, whatever. Oh, I need to implement that. Let's implement that interface quickly. Come on. Going back to using Frank Stream, yes. Going back to using Visual Studio when I'm using Visual Studio today just to make sure that developers.stream is working fine in Visual Studio. I'm usually using Rider. I spent a long time in Visual Studio, so it's not like I don't understand it, but oof. Shouldn't take 5 seconds afterwards. Yeah. So the goal of this is to be able to allow you to find those streamers. Much quicker. No, would use the tool that feels good for you. I don't. Again, you shouldn't. I would not say. Use a tool because I use it, right? I can say I use a tool, I find it very good. I have compared it to X tool, and here's what I like about it. But for you, what are you productive in, right? Assess the cost. If you want to move to something, are you moving because it's a shiny thing and other people use it? Or does it actually provide some functionality that you see beneficial? But moving to that, can your current environment do that thing with plugins or whatever? And moving to that platform or that tool, how much does it slow you down? Is it worth that time? When I moved to Rider, I actually, it took me about a year and a half to transition. I would use Rider intermittently, struggle with it, go back to Visual Studio because it felt natural. And then eventually, once I got using Rider enough, I just switched over and accepted that some of the other things would be difficult to figure out. And what I found was for me, Rider, all the things I do, Rider helps with. So I'm happy. But use a tool that feels good. And also Rider costs money if you want to do something commercially. I want to build software that I want to be able to sell one day, which means I can't use Rider's free version. I have to use the paid version. So it comes across Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. are both free. Yeah, Visual Studios feels so outdated after seeing VS Code. It does. Hey, computer, how you doing? Welcome in. Shout out given to maybe as well. Oh, don't spam the chat, please. Um, Shout out given to maybe. Maybe is a developer working on a tool, not a tool, a product called Barely Fit. Barely Fit is a health and fitness application helping you track food and exercise and help keep you accountable. It's not a server-based tool, so it is all locally on your device, and your data is stored there, and it's great to follow along with his development. So I would highly recommend going and checking out maybe. Come on, man. Mod tools on YouTube are not fun. Um, hey Omega, how you doing? Welcome in. So yeah, working on developers.stream. So developers.stream is a concept that an idea I had years ago. Back then there were other sites that did this sort of stuff. If he's testing the keyboard, there's better places. So timed out. So this is the current developers.stream, right? So again, it's an intended list of, here's a list of streamers. Here's the languages they use. So the concept has been in my head for a long time. There were other pages at that time. Belly.io was one, but Belly.io is a completely different site now. And Surly also has a curated list through GitHub somewhere. If you want to provide that link, Surly, you're more than welcome. Or helps maintain a list. But I've wanted to do this for a long time. So there we go. Yeah. So this is developers.stream, the new version we're building. The code for this is all available. It's using Blazor, and I'm using .NET Aspire to kind of provide this piece, so I can keep track of things and see all the pieces. Yeah. I was thinking of turning that into a JSON list so I could automate refreshing it. Nice. Yeah. Oh, the dog behind me. Yeah. So providing tools to help developers who stream promote, and also help people who are looking for developers who stream to find people, right? That's the goal of the list. And yeah, this is DuckDuckGo. I like the preventions. Yeah, one of the reasons I'm interested in collaborating on this with you. Yeah, definitely have to figure something out there. But the concept here is you can sign in using your. He says, "Oh, there's a." Really? Something opened there that shouldn't have opened. No, I had that problem before. Okay. But the idea is that you sign into this. So as a streamer, you come to this site, you sign in, and you link your Twitch and your YouTube accounts. Now those accounts are linked to that name and to your blurb and your tag. So trying to increase visibility um, YouTube as well as discoverability on Twitch. The other project I work on is Liquid Sky. Liquid Sky is a project management and planning application that I've been building for a little over a year, actually a year and a half. This is the current version. I'm actually using Liquid Sky to plan. Is the project using Razor or Blazor? The developers.stream project is using Blazor. So yeah, it is Blazor, and using Aspire to kind of keep that together. The other project I'm working on is Liquid Sky. It's a much larger project. This is not open source, but I do stream the development of a lot of this to try and share what it's like to build an application of quite a large scale. So Liquid Sky allows us to create planning items, track tasks against those planning items, see the list of backlog, and also be able to work on the actual thing. So this is the next release coming up, has these features in so far, and we're finalizing other pieces. So I'd say we, because I do have two people, Mojo and Rambling Geek, that I have they're not directly working on the code right this second, but they are helping me plan and brainstorm and stuff and run ideas past. So we are collaborating there a little bit. But the goal here is, and Mojo has created the back end for Liquid Sky, which is called Control Tower. Liquid Sky is a little bit more involved from a platform, from an architecture standpoint. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of services. Has a client, an Angular client on the front end of that one. Why did you choose this language over Go or PHP or something, since the site is so simple or like not overcomplex? Because I'm a .NET developer. I've been a .NET developer for over 20 years. It's something I'm comfortable with, right? Interesting stuff, although I have no knowledge about Blazor stuff. Well, I don't have knowledge about Blazor stuff, which is why I'm trying to use Blazor specifically to expand that skill set. .NET, yes, but Blazor, no. So this application uses Angular front end, but a lot of .NET backend, which is where I'm more comfortable. Rebuilding in Ruby. Yeah, whenever you want to do, maybe you can tackle the Ruby branch if you like. You call yourself a developer if you use .NET? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm just saying this stack is overkill, but you're native in it. What is overkill? You get to that point, it's like, is it overkill? Those other languages still have, I mean, okay, the hosting cost could be cheaper, but yeah, it's .NET is efficient. .NET is usable here. There's nothing particularly different. The organization of the code might look different, but using Go or PHP, yeah. Well, I'm not a real man, so I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Do you host on Azure AWS? Right now, this is not hosted yet. I'm figuring out the hosting of this, realizing it will cost me. I know that it will cost me to run developers.stream. That is fine as long as it doesn't run into the hundreds of dollars a month. Liquid Sky, this version is actually live on a local box to me, so I can shut it down if people start being malicious with it. Hello, YouTube. Yo. How you doing? Please, not 2 for 2. Getting VPS for it could be cheaper now. Possible. We'll have to have a look. I got to look at the hosting options. Deployment is not something that I do a lot of. Production deployment for me is normally handled by DevOps teams. Um, and um, yeah, can I help you? I am not sure. If you have a question, you're more than welcome to ask, and we'll see. But yeah. So yeah, deployment options for developers upstream um, are open. But yeah, so what we're working on right now is the search up here to be able to search via text or the tags. Yeah. Why is that breaking? That's breaking in Visual Studio. Oh no, it didn't. It worked this time. Okay. Huh. There's dot play, which is like first cell netlify self-hostable alternative that makes deploying stuff on a VPS very easy. Also Coolify. Uh, maybe on YouTube. You bring the servers. So deploy on your own server. Yeah. So right now, Liquid Sky is hosted on a Kubernetes cluster that's built on a little mini PC and is I use what's it called? Brain. YouTube is like an hour behind. Is it? Is it that far behind? So few people chat on YouTube that it's hard to tell if it is that far behind. But yeah. Um, your YouTube. Yeah. So this is hosted on a little box right now. I deploy to it using something that I can't. My brain will not give me the word for it this second. I apologize. But basically, I have a script that starts up and says deploy all the services. So it deploys Kafka, Mass Transit, RabbitMQ, RabbitMQ, not Mass Transit, SQL Server, MongoDB. So this is hosted in a lot more complexity. And this project, although it is aimed at being a project, um, was started to try and experiment and practice with some of the techniques and the tools I'd learned over the years. But yeah, but I have been a software dev for over 25 years. I'm just trying to continue to expand my skill set. I like you that you can rewind a live stream and then watch it from the start at 2x to catch up. Huh, nice. Oh, actually, Twitch is behind. I can't do very much about that. YouTube has actually got some really good options for, like, I could stream at a much higher bit rate on YouTube and at higher resolution, but it's Twitch that holds me back from doing that. So yeah. Um, Yo-Yo, if you do have a question, you're more than welcome to ask. But yeah, has to be on software development though, or tech in general that I can help with. Okay, so the profile was working. I don't know why that we had that pause before. So yeah, the goal of developers stream is to try and help discoverability of streamers. See again, this. Oh, that's fine. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, because I'm just over in that method. Derp. Um, derp. That's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine. I know how to type. It's fine. Yeah, and that's again the YouTube has some good options, but YouTube needs to stop. YouTube needs to treat the streaming part of it as a component that has its own tooling and features. Um, no. This is my dev machine. That's my dev machine. Uh, my mini PC is a Ryzen um, 8850H or something like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. But I do have the hardware to run that. So um, I might actually consider doing the same with developers.stream to begin with, to get an idea of it. Just start one or the other machines and deploy it that way. Because if I can get, because I'm using um, Aspire, I could probably use the tools to get the Aspirate stuff working, to get the Kubernetes deployment, and then just deploy to Kubernetes that way. So just uh, set up Kubernetes on one of the other boxes and just have them running. Again, though, the traffic concern is obviously something I need to worry about there. But I have a Cloudflare tunnel with Liquid Sky. Yeah, this machine is uh, a Ryzen 9 5950 now, I think. It was a Ryzen 5 5800X, but it's a Ryzen 9 5950X with 128 gig and a 2080 Super. So I can do a lot with this. Um, oh, to the point, by the way, I didn't think about saying this before. Um, thank you for the follow, by the way. Omega, if you're still around, one of the concepts I had when I was developing this is for those situations where something like Go or Rust or whatever is a more appropriate solution to something. I do want to still experiment with that, but using this design gives me the opportunity to use those technologies as long as they can consume and produce to Kafka, which they all can because there's library support because it's supported at the C++ level. I could break out components of this application into different languages and not have it affect the entire stack. So the entire stack could be built in a variety of technologies. There's nothing saying that any particular component has to be built in .NET just for the sake of it. So I am open to that concept, but in the case of developers.stream, I've got to pick what I'm comfortable with and decide what challenge I'm I'm after, right? I'm after building a platform to help support developers who stream, not trying to learn a new technology at the same time and slowing myself down on that development. As it is, it's still taking 3 months or more to get to where I am. Because I don't develop off stream with this. It's only 4 hours a week at best. So, so yeah. Um, as always, the purpose of this stream, this stream today is a little bit more random than usual. Normally, the purpose would be solely developers.stream. I've done a little bit of Liquid Sky. We added a feature into Liquid Sky at the beginning. But the stream is never about the development. The conversation, the chat around technology, around programming in general, that is the focus of the stream, is to kind of take what I have as an experience and share that with other people, and also, you know, learn new things. Don't be don't be shut off to those things. I don't think there's no donation button. I don't. I'm not streaming to make money. I do need to go. BRB. I'll be right back. Helps if you have the microphone in front of you. Mike, thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Appreciate the chat. Okay, so let's get this search done in here. So the goal will be very much to use this query to do what we need. So we have active streamers with details. I'm thinking what we do is we introduce string search term to record, search term equals string.empty. No, can't do it that way. Oh, because it's the, yeah, it can't be there. You're gonna do null. Want nullable? No, because we'll always pass it. It'll always be passed. There's no point. There's no point trying to do that because we'll always have this search term here, right? So search term will always get passed in. If it's empty, it's empty. We even explicitly set string.empty on the side. So let's get this done. So what I'm thinking here is we'll do if query dot search term equals empty. We'll do that one. Otherwise, what we'll do right now, I'm going to create a. Actually, do we want to do it in the? If search term not equal to coming in, so we have is null or empty. Coming in .NET in C# 14, we'll actually have the ability to create a static extension on string ourselves, which means we'll be able to do string is empty ourselves. I believe that feature is now firm for C# 14. But from a readability perspective, that's great, but this can't be null because it's not defined as a nullable string. So this is kind of outdated right now because it can only be is empty. Query.where. One second. Sorry, I let the dogs out and they need to come back in. And they ran back in and they realized I didn't have a cookie in my hand. So they ran away from me. What I'm contemplating here is this. Instead of that's got to be done. Can I combine them? Is what I'm wondering. Let's test it. We'll only know if we learn here. So wow. Nice. Yes. So we have, that's interesting that it's done that. Now the challenge is let's see if this actually works. Hey dogs. So rather than basically what I'm doing here is I'm making it so that rather than have to do this in the query itself, the specification that builds the query. So specifications is a library from Steve Smith at Dallas. And what this does is provide me the ability to wrap up those lovely link queries that we might write into a specification. That specification is applied to Entity Framework, right? So this all gets applied to the context. What this does is it will say, oh, it's a specification against Streamer, so that's its root entity. So you have to have navigation properties or whatever. And then Streamer DTO. It will return an object of that type. So that's where the select comes in, right? So I might need to dot include s goes to s dot tags, include s goes to s dot channels to make sure that the navigation is proper here. It doesn't, because the lazy loading proxies is not enabled. But we can also do then include t goes to t dot label. So I'm making sure that relationship's available so that when we do this where, it doesn't explode. Let's see if this actually does function though. So we are gonna have to run this. No, you are not going out again. You just came back in and got a cookie. Go lay down. There's no type argument. There we go. So this is the API endpoint. So streamers empty. Yeah, we'll come back around on that in a second. That's a bit of a different challenge. Refresh that. Reminisces when his parents used to taught him like, what, go sit down. Tails. Don't duck your head like that. I know. Taylor likes outside. Taylor likes always going outside. Yes. And eating things and barking at people. Yeah. Just let you out not too long ago. You're not going back out. We just gave you a cookie. Now go sit down. No. 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 You got dirty paws as well. You've been running in mud. You can just see a head appearing and disappearing slightly. Hello. You're good. You're good. Hello. You got dirty paws. You're a funny one. Apparently, I've got to spend a minute or two Ooh, what's your chin, you dingleberry? Go on, go lay down. Go lay down. No. Go lay down. No. No. We're not doing this. We're not getting up and out. No. No. Yeah. Yes. This is a Taylor deciding she wants some attention. So it's funny because she's a black dog, so the camera's the camera's like blinking in and out with the movement of her. The tail's wagging like mad, by the way. So yeah, she's enjoying what I'm doing. Like she's leaning on my shoulder, just getting rubs. So come on, you. But it just looks like I'm joking an object in the sky. Come here, come here. You do have a head. You do have a head. There you go. Come on. Not a headless dog. Yeah. Okay. So basically, if I type Angular here, what happens? Basically, not basically, actually, not basically. Does that even fire that query yet? No. Confuse myself by opening Liquid Sky and Rider. Exit that. So we have the control, the components, streamer cards. Does this fire? See, my problem with this is, suppose if you just put a term in there, it'd be fine. Visible dog. Okay, so that doesn't fire yet. Home. Let's do that. On input changed. Oh, I think this is the asynchronous part, isn't it? Yeah. I think this is this. Oh, how do I do this with arguments though? I think this is caused by this, which will be get a waiter. That. Yeah. Restart affected projects. Mm. I get the idea of hot reload. It's just not that smooth. Reload. Everything's fine. There we go. Oh, there we go. It got here with a blank search term. That's fine. Continue. Okay. So we hit that point once. Now let's do C#. Anytime. Anytime. Hmm. Gee. AI, you led me astray. You said this would work, and it doesn't. How dare you? You made up code again. I think the actual problem here. So I think the design's probably not correct to begin with, but I think the actual problem I've seen before, and I just gotta remember where. Account pages, profile. So yeah, Kik. If anyone wants to try and tackle the Kik integration, more than welcome to tell me what I'm doing wrong. But as far as I can tell, this doesn't work. So Kik is not a platform you can link to yet. So we had this before with register account on the button click. Yeah, I have to do this. However, how do I get the argument from this? So the only way I can think to do that is ref equals search input. And then we have private input. String. Search input equals null. Can I convert element reference to target type and design input? Yeah, okay. Element reference. But you're oh no. No, what are you? Input text. Right. So string that on input changed. No, not that way. And then we get rid of that. We get rid of that. And we take that. Can't even copy and paste right. Come on, man. Let's try that now. I still think this might have to be async await that to trigger it properly. Well, that's the challenge with just bundling through on this stuff. Like, I'm not going back and checking, oh, is that the right way to do it? Why is it doing it that way? What do I need to do? If I was using Blazor on a daily basis as a production application, those are the things that have to go. I should not have to. I should go and learn more about why that happens, because that will equip me to better write the code. Like, if I don't need to do that, I shouldn't be doing that because it tells a lie. That stuff lays out there. What I'm relying upon with developers on stream is these sorts of practices. If people know better, they'll share those practices and we'll be able to move it forward as a learning tool. So I'm not panicking about going back over that. I want to get this I want to get this produced first, not necessarily perfected. Okay. So let's go and refresh that. Refresh that. Oh, there we go. We get our initial one. That's good. So we know that one works. And then we can go C#. Type Angular. Nothing. Oh, come on, man. On change, input text. Really, there's nothing. On input. No, you just want to go and run around and shout at things. You don't want to do anything. There you go. So we've done that part. Now we type Angular. What? The thing is, they also know that 7 to 9 is my stream time, which means they do know when the stream is over. Dogs definitely have a sense of time. So what am I doing wrong here? What should this be? This has to be an event that on the text changing, on before cut, on abort, on change is the only one I can think of. But it's not firing that on input changed. Typing a different phrase, it's going to make a difference. I'm open to ideas here if anyone has any. Am I doing something wrong? Is there a different event? That's another question. Is there stuff that is Blazor specific? Oh, value changed. Why would I put a Taylor? What is the matter? Do you want to go outside? Is that what you want? Do you want to go play? Come on, let's go. I'll be right back. It's a Blazor specific. Oh, it is Blazor specific. Okay. Parameters, the component parameter value changes generate, but makes the component also have a hookup to the value change callback if you're wanting to do something more with the value. After the two-way binding updates, the value use bind value after. Gotcha. Bind value and value change makes you think it has two value changed attributes declared. Okay. So you can set up bind, or you can set up the value separate. Okay. I think I get that. I think I get that. Appreciate that. Let's give that a whirl. So we should hit our original breakpoint once that loads. I will say having this in Visual Studio without that silly open Chrome tab is a little smoother. Okay, so here we go. C sharp. Not today. No what today? Longer stream. It is Memorial Day. I wasn't prepared. I mean, I'll shut the stream down if you want. I mean, if you don't want me around, it's fine. I'll shut it down. You're bored? Okay. Give me 5 minutes to finish up. The place it starts getting a bit more messy than it might already be is when you change the bind event using the bind value after, so it fails, but still don't fully know why. Yeah, I think I think I just did that wrong, right? So event. Okay, so what does the event do? Gets to set the value of the input. That should be. So there you're saying bind value event equals on input using the bind value after some handler fails, but it still don't know. No, you had it correct. Because after I want to trigger that, but it's not firing it. Does it make this? Does it by any chance make this async just by default? You know, just just to be nice. And does it debounce? No, it doesn't even fire it. So the bind event is unchanged by default. Okay. It fires when you blur. No. Mm. I'm using that in the code. I'm currently working on it. It's set up exactly like that. Like this version or the async version, the async invoke version. This one with an async method. Let's restart. Let's assume. So this is a control from the components library used in the web page that is set up with, how do I remember this one? Routes, home, routes, authorize. Import render mode, layout, main layout. Interactive server components, interactive WebAssembly components. paste JSON into another bind value JSON import with a parse input JSON. Gotcha. Do I need the string? That's still required, right? The string is, it doesn't really matter, does it? Interesting. Okay, so that fired. That didn't. Pick any parameters. Nope. No parameters. So you think the debugger isn't firing, but it's not hitting the backend code either way. Over there. I tabbed out of it. I changed it. So I assumed what you were thinking there was the debugger wasn't actually triggering for some reason, so it wouldn't hit the breakpoint. So the console write line would prove it. Whereas when a where finally fires, it's going to get it wrong, but yeah. Is it something to do with my what are you doing? Doc there. Is it something to do with the Blazor setup that changes this behavior? Have I got something set up like a page that hold on. Hold on, I remember this one. Account, profile, render mode, interactive server. That's what I'm missing. There we go. That'll work. Or not. Come on. Let me, for the sake of my own sanity, let me just do this. That hits that one, that's fine. Nope. So you flip it so it's always interactive server, but then when pages are static and it does need to be called put in the client piece, it can be. So you could put like help pages and stuff in the client, but the interactive server stuff is. I think I get that right. You don't have a breakpoint. Where do I have a breakpoint? Well, it doesn't matter because it wasn't firing. It doesn't do anything anyway. Why? Why do you break my brain? Like, it's definitely me. I know it's me. I know it's the code setup. I'm not debating. I think that Blazor makes this a little bit harder than it needs to be. Also, we need to actually To be clear, this shouldn't actually this should just be on input changed and filter it, because if we clear it out, it should also fire the blank version as well. Otherwise, you're going to filter it and then not be able to return it, but that's a separate bug. Oh wow, is my phone not charging? I got a bad cable here. Oh, now it's charging. Rerun. Couple more things to try. Rerun in case it was hot reload not working, and that would make sense because the interactive server mode would potentially change something. Last time, I'll be right back. Okay, that is that. We restarted. If that fails, instead of bind value, you could set search input and value changed, but your input change would now need to take a change event args. Gotcha. Okay, let's give this a go. What is the worst that happens? Okay, you're going to hit that breakpoint. That's fine. C#. Oh. Nope. Hey. But when I tabbed out of it. Search term is C#. Hello? Let's see what this yields. This might break. I didn't filter anything. Did it run a query? Oh, that is quite the monster query that generated. Here you go. That's what it generated. So it did the query and then said where exists, but it lost the original where. So it does override it. That's worth knowing. We'll worry about the fact that you have to tab out of it as a separate thing. Interesting that it did it as a where exists. Okay, let's go back and fix that a little bit. So that where there got ignored. Correct. That was the thing about what the event does. So the default event is on change. I would normally change this to be an on input with my own debounce logic, but it's exercise time for me. I would like to stay and talk through this more, but yeah, I think you can see an example of this on the Final Man project in GitHub. Don't know for sure that exactly. One line, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your exercise. Thank you very much for the assistance here. I appreciate it. I'm sure I will share the results of this when I finish up. But thank you. Enjoy your exercise. If you haven't actually followed OneLine yet, OneLine is another .NET streamer, works on Blazor, which is why he's able to help me so much with this. Very knowledgeable streamer, and highly recommend checking him out. He works on his work stuff, and on Fridays hosts a community day where he opens up Discord and you can jump in and have a chat with him and others. such as myself or Deflux, DC Aggie, Thindle. Oh, I can't shout, can I? 1 minute 25, okay. So basically what we want to do is say else query where that's our default. And then this becomes that and so unreadable. That we don't want streamers in. So if you sign up to the platform and you click a link to link an account or whatever, we don't want to include you in the search results if you don't verify that account. If that's broken for whatever reason, if that never finishes, we don't want to include that. There are some bugs around that in terms of just the general behavior. With it, right now it shows you the channels if they're linked, whereas it should show you if they're verified. So you can relink again. But right now, if you don't have a verified channel, there's no point showing it. So like 50 people could sign up to the site to log in and do something, but never link their Twitch or YouTube accounts to be found as streamers. But we don't want to show you in the results. However, if you're searching on something, we still shouldn't find it. So channels does need to be verified all the time. But we did see in that that it did not include the channels as part of it. It did, however, search term equals search term dot to lower to lower to lower to lower. Let's see if that translates. I'm not sure that will show the I don't think those will convert properly to lower in SQL, but we can see. We can hope. Otherwise, we're going to have to figure out if case insensitive comparison works. This is a quirk of Postgre being what Postgre is here. If I'm building this for real, okay, it works on enter as well, so I'm happy with that one. Right, so it's not filtering, but it did treat the lower. That's awesome. That is fantastic. That's good news because it's respecting it. So we ended up with that. So lower blurb, lower text on label, lower name on channel. Like, oh, but we don't do the. Oh, but we don't know what that looks like, do we? So does it make the like? How do I see that? Stream will use query, single query, which can be potentially. Yeah, I don't want multiple queries in this. So we did. Oh, hold on. That merged that in. That merged that in initially as well. No, it didn't. Oh, it did. So if you look, it actually so I have these verified check, but it actually moves it there. That's not correct, is it? So it did combine them initially. So it wasn't ignoring it. Um Hold on, that's not true, is it? We just refresh the page. So the search input is blank. And get that query. So that's the default query now. Output. Where exists, select. Oh, interesting. Oh, and is verified. It merges them. It merges. Okay, it merges the two things. Okay, that's fine. But did it in the initial one? So if it did it in that one, then I'm good. No, it didn't. It didn't do it that way. Okay, so it does need the extra, the where to be what it is. Okay, so that's good to know. So it merges the two things together. Um, but it's not filtering those results. Or is it? Because did I validate that it was actually going to do anything on the other side yet? Streamer card. Stream eraser. Does it get here? I don't think it gets here, does it? Yeah, it must do, because it gets the streamers. Let's, yeah, term, C#. Streamers is 4. Streamers is 1. TBD gamer, okay, that's fine. Oh, we need state has changed. Remove the breakpoint so we don't mess around with that anymore. There we go. Well, that's interesting. Angular. Okay, so let's do this and let's do technology. Rambling Geek. So that is because from once the first time it happens, we need to do that. There we go. So Blazor, let's do Blazor. Okay, let's go into my profile and add Blazor because you know it's true. Go back here. We should have Blazor as a tag. Now we should be able to find me and one line under Blazor. There you go. AMA. Amazing dev. Mm. Honestly, does stream, honestly. Big fan. Works with, works. Work. We've got about. So, about, we'll find Rambling Geek and myself. And C Sharp, .NET. Yeah, they don't have any tags associated because they're not real accounts, they're test accounts. Where we're going now. So we have the search effectively working. I kind of want to do the default event is on change, or normal changes to be on input with my own debounce logic, but it's exercise time for me. So let's give that a go. Let's before we go too far, let's change find value event equals on input, right? And then let's go here and say, how do I implement debounce on input changed? Delay 500 milliseconds. I think 500 milliseconds feels good. Let's see if it. Let's see what it does. I could go and look at Fineman on One Lines GitHub. Let's see what it does there. So input, yeah. Debounce, cancellation token source, await task delay. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. So let's do this. Let's create public class debounce. Oh, helps if you do that in actual code. Debounce. And that takes a action. Task. And then no, that's not the right way to think about that. Let's implement it. CTS. So this is basically saying if we've got a cancellation token source, cancel it. Right. And then create a new version of it. Var token equals, it's a token source. Get the actual token. Although we don't need to do that. Unless that is actually getting passed in there. Yeah, because now we could actually pass a token down here. So we can actually do cancellation token, which is probably the better way to do it anyway, because now this genuinely can be cancelled. Eventually. So now we can do CTS token. I'm not capturing another variable just for the sake of that. This is telling me that the act of cancelling will throw an exception. I don't like doing this stuff, but and then if not, that's why they capture the variable. Okay. Dot is cancellation requested. So if we're not already trying to cancel it, await this. Right. Which will debounce because we do await task.delay 500. Okay, so now I see why we do that. Introduce variable. There you go. Just from a clarity perspective. So this feels like this could be wrapped into a debounce that has this as the event trigger of it. So the debounce you just pass, when you do it, call this. The problem I have there is with kind of the surrounding pieces. So let's go with that. Let's see what happens. Again, if you're new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, if you're looking at this code and thinking that is horrendous, why would you be doing this? Feel free. Again, earlier on, the challenge of why am I using something like this that seems to add a lot of complexity when I could be using Go or PHP even. Parameters must be unique. Find value. That's interesting because that's exactly what it suggested is fine. But I'm open to a conversation about it, right? If you have any, questions on what this is, feel free. I'm not assuming that's correct. What I'm just figuring out is why the component parameter bind value is used 2 or more times for this component. Parameters must be unique. The component parameter bind value is generated by the bind value after directive attribute. So you can't have that and that. Hey, Manatonics. Been good. How about yourself? How things streaming? How's the game coming along? I do when I see you streaming, I do oftentimes click in and lurk a bit, but if I have the opportunity, I don't want to say hello. How's things? So that succeeds now. So why can't I set bind event and nice, exciting times. How do you end up with an underscore in the end of your name? I thought this is building a game and clearly getting to the point of preparing to publicize it, which is an exciting time, I would imagine. Building software is hard. Building software and putting it out into the world is a lot harder. The bind value after directory entry. So it doesn't like this isn't an ordering thing, is it? No. 2 or more times to this component. So then do I do on input equals on input changed? Does that now work? Let's try that. Projects are going well. We are doing it's used on input. How is it used to? I'm just gonna let's see what happens. Um, developers stream is coming along. We're building out the I'm building out the search today, trying to get this working a little bit smoother. Basically, opened it up last Friday, to contributions if anyone wants to contribute. Tidying this piece up, and then this might be it for a little while for me from developers.stream until I get the deployment done. And Liquid Sky is coming along. Got the planning. So this is actually the current version of the software running, being used to plan the software. I don't know why that's not summarizing those counts there. That's interesting. Maybe it's because I haven't refreshed. Yeah, that is. So Liquid Sky is progressing. Been working on adding the ability to assign teams, or assign users into teams, and then allowing sprints to be created for teams. And now tasks can only be associated with sprints that are for that team. So yeah, it's progressing. It's progressing. Next phase of this is to get some better planning tools in, hopefully this week. Get some better planning tools in so you can go into this area and do the task planning with a little bit more context. And then from there, do another release so people can tinker with that stuff. And then get to what comes next. Basically, the complicated change triggering and notification stuff is the things I see as being important there. But yeah, lots of different pieces moving. So I want to see. Now you're going to error on me. Yeah, because why wouldn't you error on me? And not be change event args. Because of change event args. That's why. Like he told me in the text. He said You need to have change event args, and then you need to capture the value. One line kind of told me. Hold on. I don't think it actually matters now. I think I need the args because it triggers it, but I don't see why it triggers it. What magic sorcery is doing this? So basically, on input changed. Input text requires the value expression. Oh my goodness me. Why are you making this so hard? Why is this now? That's not that. So that doesn't fire anything. Because that's input. But it can't specify the other thing. Oh dear. GitHub.com 111 Lion Finance Manager. So we're going over to One Lion's GitHub here. We're gonna do a bit of cheating. Finance Man. Canny, hello, how are you doing? Blazor UI. Oh, so this is always the fun when you go and look at someone else's code, is you've got to figure out how they do things different to how you would do things. Let's see if we can search. Bind. What's the code I'm looking for? Bind value event. Fine, coming in from 2 hour playtime with dog outside. It was a great time and now back to regular work. How are you? Oh, 2 hour playtime. Wow. I'm good. I'm gonna finish up this search thing on developers.stream. We've got so last week we got the API in here as well, so you can use, so the API would be available. And if we get this up and running, I can set up the API and you can query. So you get he says, because things don't work, but you get an API key and be able to search for streamers by name. Today I'm trying to get the search in the site working and hitting my head against Blazor. Oh, I don't need no documentation. Oh dear. Finance Man. Share client. Mojo, good morning. Blazor components. Account summary. Oh dear. Main page components. Transaction. Main page hero. History components. Oh man. Okay. Search for search. Lookup item service. That's lookup item service, not actual lookups. Lookup models. No. That's shared. I want UI controls. Blazor. Components. Main page. There's got to be somewhere in here of bind value, right? Yeah, bind value. Okay. I don't like the whole. Yeah, there's nothing searchy. There's nothing searching here. So we have after, which gives us on input changed, right? So we can do it that way, and then we can get rid of that, and that'll stop arguing with us. So we can do the search here. So C#, and it will work, right? No. Makes me think that. Oh, there you go. So C# limits it to me. Everyone shows, but I'm having to hit enter after that. So I wanted to do a debounce. Which is fine. I mean, the debounce code is clearly working, right? So if I, there's definitely a delay between that now introduced. But I wanted it to do type. One line left me holding my. Kenny, thank you for the bits. I forget that those logos, so that there they don't show, but there they show big. I appreciate that. Thank you. One line left me saying event does. So the default event is on change. I would normally change this to be on input my own debounce logic, but it's exercise time. Okay, so you could use bind value with search input, but your own input change would now need to take change event args and you'd get the value from search input eValue string. Always a challenge, always a challenge. However, we are at 3 hours, so I think it is that time to call it. I was hoping I'd get this done. And in theory I have, but I don't have the debounce. So let's get that committed. Let's get that. Yeah. Introduce search. Started playing Clair Obscur last night. It's a good game. Pass search term through to schema query, modify, specification to respect search term anywhere, update search bar to accept, search on enter or blur. I don't want to leave a to do in this, but I do want to make sure this is committed. Commit staged and push. So that we should have at least a PR sat there. Well, does it link it? I think it does. No, it doesn't. Didn't use the right method. But we do have a branch sat there that will allow me to. So let's go here. Let's go here. Relationships. Oh, my Stream Deck just crashed. That's awesome. You should totally do that again. I think that's going crazy. Interesting. Development. There you go. I can link the branch anyway. So I'm not gonna merge it yet. I think I do want to do the search, but that at least allows people to see if they come into the project, they can see that there is a pending. What are you doing, Stream Deck? That's gonna make for some fun, isn't it? Oh, what did I just change? The Stream Deck is what are you doing? OBS, okay. Never mind. It just decided to start switching between things, and I think a cable was powered or something, so it was very sensitive. But anyway, I think we are at the point where I do not want to dig any deeper on this. So I was kind of thinking that maybe today would be a random stream, a bit more random. I didn't set out with any plans on developers.stream specifically, but obviously getting the search in there does make it a bit more usable, right? I am in researching methods of putting this live. It's going to cost me money, right? I know it's going to cost me money. There is at least 3 services on a database that need to be deployed. So deploying that to Azure, I can't put it on the free because anybody who uses it, if I then go into Streams and say, hey, you can use it, and it shuts down after 60 minutes because I've had it on the free version, probably not helpful to people. So I just got to figure out what that looks like from a deployment perspective. And I can't host it locally because, again, if the traffic increases on it, then my provider is going to be like, you hosting full websites in your home. I don't need to fight that challenge. So I'd rather start as a mean to go on. I'm okay with it costing a little bit. $30 or $40 a month is not going to hurt. I can shut other things. I can cancel other services to make sure I make up that cost. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm gonna do a bit of research into that. Tomorrow will be a regular Liquid Sky stream. We, like I said, Liquid Sky. We now have the sprints mainly associated. Got one more thing to do on the filtering. I'll probably do that today. I'm going to not do this piece, the drag and drop of the assignment. I think that actually takes it too far. I think that would be worth gathering feedback on as people start to use the project. If you are new to the stream, if you've not been in here before, there is a Discord. You're more than welcome to join. If you have questions on this technology, on anything I do on stream, more than welcome to talk about it. We do hang out sometimes in voice chat, quite regularly. Where we talk about random stuff. No guarantees on what. But if you do have questions, you have things you want to show or discuss, please feel free to join in there. But I get on with that. So tomorrow might be something new on Liquid Sky, probably the task planning screen, the actual planning component, some design, and then some coding on getting that focus. Because right now the only way of adding tasks is to go into the requirement in here and hit add task. This should be a workflow. It should not be a add task, because we should be able to say, oh, for this requirement, let's just include a task. Let's include another task. Let's include another task, and make it a nice, smooth workflow that the developers can build out on. So yeah, that is very much the goal there. However, is anybody doing what I think? No. So we haven't had a chance to raid Dan in a long time. He's normally finished his stream and done by now. He must also have the day off today. So he's going through that. So we're gonna raid Dan. Yeah, he's building his first game. He's been working on this for quite a while, but he's doing, fantastic. Making a lot of progress there. And it's a nice place to go and hang out. So I'll raid over there. I'll be back tomorrow with Liquid Sky, regular stream. I wish I could do 3 to 4 hour streams every day. It'd be awesome, but fortunately I normally have a job. So thank you for joining me. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see you next time. There we go. Take care all. Thanks.